there's a boilerplate, and I don't know if you utilize it, but to the extent that the right to access credit also contains some boilerplate the right to report. In other words, you could act like a bank or a credit agency and report their balance every month, just like a credit card. If that boilerplate was included, fire out a report to the jury, whatever, and show it as a bad debt.
Okay.
I think we should consider it.
I think we need to amend our lending policy that states that,
For all of these
defaults,
sorts of
any
loans.
defaults will be reported.
I agree.
I think that people need to know that up front.
Did she conduct business at any point in time after the loan?
I don't know, this was Lyle.
DLDC, and this was before me, and so I came in after the COVID loan, so
Do
I'm
we
not.
have the application handy at all to look at?
We can amend the
Yeah, let's do
resolution
that.
right now and just put back to staff to look at it, do the due diligence and do what's legal and right. And we can get consultation from Justin's team, what's legal and right. I mean, if we have no rights, we have no rights. I mean, it's likely we have, at minimum, we have a letter that we can
So
write.
Wow.
if we just withdraw the motion in the second, we'll fall to the next month and give staff the time to review.
Is it
How to
important to write the loan off this month? I mean, the resolution is to write the loan off. The other action could go to next month. I don't know if it's important to write it
I
off.
think he
this
did it
month.
because our audit's gonna be starting at the end of.
That's why I thought
Yeah.
it was important to get done.
Yeah, but-
So my opinion would be, let's get the loan written off. We can amend the resolution to actually put action on staff to report to us for next month to do, provide whatever notifications, whether it be credit reporting or X.
Yep. Does that sound acceptable, Justin?
Yeah, I would take care of the accounting now to write off the loan contingency to adjust balance sheet. That's fine. That doesn't prohibit you from you feel like it's worth it. With regard to the application, that makes sense to update it, but also the application forms and acknowledgements where they give consent to look at credit. That consent can also include the affirmative right for you to report. And then the loan documents themselves would have mirrored provisions. So you could do ongoing credit monitoring if you feel like there's a problem. And then to the extent that you want to act a little bit more like a traditional lender, you can report every month or quarterly or annually what an outstanding balance is. So from a Fair Credit Reporting Act perspective, they will have your loan on their credit report. It'll affect their FICO or their DUNS or whatever they may have for credit reporting. And to the extent that the loan goes bad, you can enter that information into their credit history too.
Justin, one other question. So we have a number of other outstanding COVID loans and these other smaller loans. As we update our application, do we have, I'm assuming we have the rights to notify all of our existing loan recipients of some change in policies? Can we do things retroactively to say, hey, you signed this original agreement, but here's the new rules, or is that poking a bee's nest we don't need to?
Look at it, maybe worth protected for the larger ones.
Okay, yeah, all right. I mean, I constantly get updates to my credit card rule. It's like you're constantly getting changes to terms and conditions, but I didn't know what that was. So, I forgot who made the initial.
Well, I go back to
Resolution.
Dave's, so,
Dave.
but coming back to Dave's suggestion, which I completely support, changing our credit policy, that we will consider.
Okay.
We will.
And that would be across
Part
all
of-
agencies,
yeah.
but we can just sort of put that on to, if you can make a record, we can put that on your staff now
Absolutely.
across all the agencies.
For this particular one, I believe, if I remember right, that she actually went out of business during COVID. COVID put her out of business.
Okay. I just don't.
She got the loan from us early on, and then she was never able to get the daycare back going because of COVID.
Yeah.
Right.
And there might not be any recourse with the COVID loans because they were very slim and
Yeah.
as far as that goes. So there might not be any of the
I
stuff with the
wouldn't want
traditional
to be
loan.
part of any kind of enforcement to recoup
No, no,
other than just a credit report.
absolutely.
That's
I agree.
like check and balance.
I think each one only had a demand letter that didn't have the whole package
Right.
of loan documents.
Yeah, so it might not even be relevant.
All right. So we've had first, second, and discussion. The only amendment, it's really not an amendment to the resolution, but we're asking staff to next month report back what to do on this particular loan, which then affects how we update all of our other loan enforcements and notifications and such. So any other discussion on the resolution? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the resolution carries with an action, couple actions sometimes.
Yep.
Audit committee, page 26, Paul, you're the chair. So,
We have met with the auditor and there's resolutions there for the audits necessary because of the, I think, because of the grant monies and along that. The price was significant again, but we're ready to go and so is Lyle, if the meeting went well.
Any questions on the committee report before I read the resolution? All right, page 27 is our resolution number 01.09.2025.02 to engage auditors for the annual audit. Whereas the audit committee met on December 13, 2024 to meet with Bauer CPAs and Advisors PLLC, I said that right. Whereas Bowers presented an engagement letter for the period of January 1, 2024 through December 31, 2024. The fee for the financial audit is $8,500 plus $3,300 for the single audit plus $300 for the New York State investment report and $1,400 for the preparation of the information returns online filing of the New York State CHAR 500 for a total of $13,500. Whereas the audit committee recommended approval of the engagement letter. Having read that, do we have a
Yes,
motion to accept? Paul?
second.
Is that John?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Person, any other discussion or questions? Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries, which brings us to personnel. Ed, you chaired it, but you chaired the meeting, but Lisa's the chair? I forget.
Isn't,
There is
You're
no
the
chair at the moment.
I think Rob,
There is no chair.
There is no.
Okay, that's right.
Until today.
Because I was like, there was no chair written down, and I saw Lisa was absent, so I wasn't sure if she was the chair of the committee. You think I would know?
You mean you didn't like voluntold me or something?
think
So,
I would, like,
well, she's not
know.
here, so.
I'm like the worst leader. Personnel committee report, page 38. So Ed, you did chair.
Sure.
Well, actually, nobody chaired the meeting, but you're the first one in the list.
Called the meeting to order.
You called the meeting to order, so
Yeah,
you're the
right,
chair.
right. Okay, we can do it. We'll run
So if
through
you
it.
want to just kind of like highlight it, there's a bunch of resolutions anyway.
I would just reference everybody to the minutes of the meeting.
Yep.
Which pretty well reveals, the discussion
Mhm.
around the resolution. The resolution for the annual contribution was on Lyle and Marshall's recommendation. So we can handle that first and foremost, I guess. Simple resolution for a contribution to the employee pension fund. Any questions on that amount, percentage?
Okay, I mean, you want me to read the resolutions after this, or you want to go through the whole committee report, whatever you decide?
What's up? It's up to you.
Mm,
Let's go, all right, let's go through the whole report.
Yeah,
first.
then
All
we
right.
can kind of just go on.
So the resolution for that was pretty cut and dry. Part of the other initiative was to update the employee handbook, of which we hired an outside entity that had much more familiarity with it. They updated it. Initially, it was going to be for minor changes, but if you review it, there was quite a lot added to it in a couple of areas. So I defer to Marshall. You wanna scope that for us, Marshall?
Yeah, there is a lot of things here. I don't know how much detail you want me to go into here, but in the packet, red has been updated. New hires, whistleblower protection, accommodations for nursing employees, the resignation policy, outside employment. It's things where the spirit necessarily hasn't changed, but the wording to tighten up the handbook has seen some fairly significant changes. So, classification of employment, paycheck deductions and pay periods, application of benefits. These are really just the topics. Use of sick time. It's almost like we have a great handbook, and there was some significant changes here.
So prior to these changes, when was the last time this was reviewed?
We review it.
Well,
2 or 3
updated,
years
excuse me.
ago.
Yeah, every 2 or 3 years
Okay.
it's reviewed.
Because there's a very substantive amount of
There is.
comments.
Yep.
Um,
And under the scope of outside purview, it's a good thing we did this, I guess.
Yes, I agree.
We were kind of doing it matter of factly, but
Yep.
when you look at what was added into it, it's like, wow, we needed it
We
bad.
needed it. Yep,
it's good work.
absolutely. They do, the consultant does very nice work.
Because that was reasonable. That was only a few thousand, wasn't it? Yep. All right, so is there any questions on those updated handbook? There's a lot in it. Staff is happy, then I guess we're happy. Okay, if there's nothing more on that, then I guess we can jump. The last item was our annual review of our CFO, or CEO, which was very favorable. And the
We
committee.
got our arms twisted on that one, but
Yeah. Yep. So the committee came up with a slight adjustment to his salary, and I guess I'd open it up to Paul or Dave for any comments regarding.
I think we were all very pleased with Marshall's performance since being appointed, and it was reflected in our decision.
Yeah, we have a resolution for that
Yep.
too, so.
Yep.
Anything else in flavor of the meeting that you need to share with the board? Otherwise, we can just kind of go through the resolutions one by one and rehash some of this anyway.
I think probably from my perspective, the only noteworthy thing was some discussion that we had regarding staffing
Yeah.
and comfort level with workload. And, we're down, you could argue, 2 positions.
Yeah.
And Marshall pretty much assured things are working very well, and people are stepping up, and it seems to be going very smoothly. You want to?
I completely agree. Couldn't be happier with everyone's performance, and I'm proud to be part of this team. I guess that really sums it up.
And also along with that, there was the annual pay raise for employees.
Yep.
Which was discussed and this entity went along with the county's
Yes.
recommendation or procedure for, which is a 3% pay raise.
Yeah. We did have one person receive a 4%.
Yeah, there's no resolution for that. That's
No,
what the CEO.
That was just a point of information. Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
For full transparency.
Other than that, I don't have anything more
All
from
right,
this.
so, I'll go through the resolutions, just kind of recap all of this anyway. Page 40 is our first resolution. 01.09.2025.03, resolution of the Jefferson County Local Development Corporation to make one-time contribution of 3% to the Jefferson County Local Development Corporation 401k profit sharing plan for the plan year 2024. Our members resolved by passing this resolution that the Jefferson County Local Development Corporation makes a one-time contribution, actually repetitive, to the Local Development Corporation 401k profit sharing plan of $15,572 for the plan year of 2024, which is that 3%. Do we have a motion to accept this?
So moved.
Bill, a second?
I'll second it.
Got 2, but
No,
we'll let Greg have it. We didn't have discussion.
can I explain this
Go ahead.
a little bit? For the new members that aren't aware of why this 3% is there, when the organization moved away from the New York State retirement plan, we sat and we tried to figure out a way to equalize or balance out a little bit. And that's where we come up with the extra optional 3% on top of the 401k every year. So that's where this 3% came from. It was really kind of trying to be fair with our employees during that period of time.
You say moved away, the state said they could no longer belong.
They didn't
I mean, for years, they were contributing to the state retirement system.
Yes.
Expecting to be in it, then those decisions came down maybe a decade ago that said they were no longer eligible. And they were, so all we're doing is putting in the same level of retirement benefit that they would
And
have
I bet the
had.
state refunded all the money that was contributed to, right?
I believe they did.
They
Oh
did,
my
actually,
God.
yeah.
I was being rhetorical.
It was scary time for some of the staff here.
Oh my God.
So it was quite, I wasn't on the board then, but we dealt with it in other places.
And that was all really an initiative coming back to the state controller. It was one or two people in an office looking at purview and deemed it, non-applicable, and through the whole thing, it was like throwing a grenade in our organization.
If I'm not mistaken, we are one of the few LDCs that were removed, and they haven't since taken any further. So it's a tough situation, actually, for us.
And I think the other noteworthy thing for history is the amount of money that cost us. Was almost what, 200,000, something like that?
It was north of that.
Yeah, to resolve that issue.
And I can say, I'll throw out there, I gotta thank Justin Miller for helping walk us through that time. That was a pretty tough time.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, tough to learn, but you got through it.
The amazing thing is the comptroller's office said agriculture is not economic development. And every year since, they issue an economic impact statement of agriculture in New York State.
Oh, that's a noteworthy point too. That's a very good one. Yeah, very true.
Okay, so we have first, second discussion. Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Could I just add a clarification? I was just thinking personnel. Wasn't Kent Burdo on the committee? And I thought he might have been chair.
He was chair.
Yeah,
that's
Rob's
why.
been appointed.
Got it.
I forgot that's later in here, but I thought somebody took his position in the interim. I could have just given it to you.
No, that's okay.
It would have been
Trying to
Well,
find
because I'm already chair of one, the
That's true.
nominating, and,
That's true.
I mean, we
She's
have
just trying
some
to
new
find a
people.
bus.
Mr. Aiken is.
No, I
now-
mean, we have some new people, newer people that might want.
Believe me, we spread the joy to everyone. I went through that with Marshall. I'm like, here's what we're doing for and that's later on for the proposed seats.
Yeah.
So page 41 through like a lot, the employee handbook, rather than going through this, there's a lot of changes. It was done by a professional consultant, staff reviewed it. There are a lot of changes. If there is any more, I would like a simple up or down, yes or no on this. So we'll actually ask the board to approve the changes, but if we want to have a discussion, I guess we'd have to have a motion first to have the discussion. So if I have a motion to accept the proposed changes to the employee handbook, and then we can have a discussion after we get a first.
So moved.
and second.
Second.
John, Paul, okay, any other discussion? All right, barring that, all in favor of the proposed changes? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The changes are now not proposed, they're final.
Marshall.
Yes. Thank you.
That leads us to the last of page 106.
Yeah, probably.
It's in the way I figured, but it's sometimes you never really short.
That's nice. Yeah, it's public now.
It should, well, somebody will find out about it. So that leads us to our last resolution, page 106. Resolution number 01.09.2025.04, resolution for CEO salary increase. Whereas the Personnel Committee met on December 14th, 2024. The other meeting was the 13th. Is this, did we meet different dates?
Didn't you have two meetings?
Yeah, there was,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought the other one was 13. Okay, so they met on December 14, 2024 to conduct the annual CEO evaluation for F. Marshall Weir, and whereas the Personnel Committee recommended a salary increase to $125,000 effective December 16, 2024. And this resolution resolves that the board approves that. So if we have a motion to accept the resolution.
So moved.
Lisa?
Second.
Second, Bill? Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? We're good. Resolution carries. Thank you. Congratulations. Good work, team. Governance, page 107. This is you, Ed.
Right. Just a quick noteworthy point, I think, is prior to that, changing the flow chart, organizational flow chart from our new structure reflecting J. I don't know if anybody has
Yeah, I
looked at
saw
that.
that.
I just,
You even got a nice yellow box,
Yeah.
I think.
point of reference.
Yeah, moved up from being on probation.
You got to talk to Lyle about that. Not sure that that's
It's been
necessary.
24 years I've been on probation.
Okay, so governance, we met and then we did our annual purview review, which was, of course, review our mission statement, performance measures. One thing with the mission statement for the LDC was out of sync with the JCIDA, so we changed a sentence in there to put them both identical. We both have the same mission statement now. So I don't know, does staff want to comment on any of the cookie cutter stuff as far as our standards, our review? We probably should take a look at our year-end evaluations for loans, employees. You want to take a minute doing that? That was part of, are we going to do that later today? The update.
The update of what?
Well, we're required to report, part of our deficit reporting was showing our jobs.
Oh, on the,
Yeah, our annual purview of loan evaluations and jobs created, new loans, which at our meeting, we had to close out the year. So they're compiled now, I see, right?
right, Peg sent out those letters, right?
We won't review until March.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They just went out, so we don't have the results back.
Well, I was looking at the sheet in the packet that referenced to December 31st, 24.
That'd be the ending date, I think, of the
Yeah.
actual loan.
All right,
This has to do with the parish reporting or the.
all right. So we're not ready
We're also auditing.
No.
to do our
Both pieces, okay.
Right, that
Yeah, that's not
evaluation.
till March, because she
Okay.
just sent them out. We're getting,
Okay.
they're trickling in,
All
but
right.
yeah, they'll be for the
Okay.
March meeting, right, Peg?
All right, so we'll
Yeah.
get that out of the,
Okay.
out of the purview then. So other than that, everything was in compliance. So then we come down to our, I guess we did add the anti-nepotism policy was put into our documentation addressing that. From there, we went to the annual board evaluations, which here again showed
Improvement.
improvement, and everybody seemed to be on the committee was happy with it. I don't know if you've got the results in front of you, if anybody has any questions.
I would
Any
just say
comments?
from when I first came on the board and the first year we went through these, this was the best evaluation I've seen.
Yeah, there used to be 50-50, 60-40, now they're
Yeah.
20-80 kind of.
And that's a lot to the leadership and staff.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I don't know if anybody else from the committee has any comments on the evaluations, but look favorable. It kind of entered into the discussion around salary increases and compensation, which were all favorable as well. So with that, that's pretty much what the governance committee accomplished and is recommending to the board acceptance of.
Okay. We have one resolution and then we'll, do an up or down on the, just accept the confidential board evaluations, just, for record keeping. So we'll do the resolution first. It's on page 108 of our packet, resolution number 01.09.225.05 for annual internal policy and procedure review, whereas on December 13, 2024, the JCLDC Governance Committee met to review the listed policies and procedures. After review and discussion, they recommended the following internal policies for the board's consideration: bylaws, mission statement and performance measures, disposition of real property guidelines, investment policy with internal controls, procurement policy, proposed anti-nepotism policy. Now therefore be resolved, this board approves all of the changes as set forth in this resolution. Hope we have a motion to accept.
I'll move it.
Thank you, Ed. A
Yes.
second. Paul, okay. Any other discussion or questions on, we have one proposed new policy and the rest are just housekeeping, upkeeping. Okay, all in favor, aye? Any opposed? That changes carry. Page 114
114 pages.
is our board evaluation, so that goes across one page. We have a motion to accept this evaluation. Ed, second?
Second.
Bill? Any other discussion or questions on this? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Evaluation is accepted. Jay, is this the longest you've had to wait to talk?
I think it is, no question.
I'm just making an observation. You've had to have you sit there quiet for 37 minutes.
That is unusual,
That
yes,
is-
but I did throw in my 2 cents on one thing.
So, we're now the council reports.
All right, and I will
Mr. J.
try to keep it brief. So anyways, welcome to our new board members and welcome to Dylan for sitting in here. So in agriculture, a lot of good things going on. Right now, I'm trying to finish up getting the application out for the final round of the food resiliency grants, which, as we've talked about before, will include production agriculture, food processing, and now agritourism. So I should have that application done either today or tomorrow and ready to go out. So I have worked on it a little bit, but haven't completed it yet. One of the big things I try to do every couple of years is outreach to our local manufacturers. We do a little luncheon to bring our plant managers together. They've enjoyed this in the past. Trying to coordinate that with our manufacturers right now. The other thing I've done is trying to build a better relation, not that it's bad, but we just don't have much connection to them. But Burn Dairy down in Syracuse, I've set up a meeting there, and a few of us from the staff will be going down to meet with Burn Dairy and learn more about their operation, again, in an effort to build a better relationship with Burn Dairy. Another item that we're doing is Dairy Farmers of America is going through a leadership change here in the Northeast. We will be meeting with their new vice president here at the end of the month to talk about the dairy industry and about the things going on in the dairy industry. So I'd like to do that every so often, and now with a new leader coming in for the Northeast region, time to do it again. Have Congress, I'm working on scheduling Congresswoman Tenney for a podcast discussion to talk about the important issues going on in agriculture. One last thing that I want to tell you about, and I saw it reflected in your in the paperwork for the board meeting. There was a conversation about working with DANK. I saw that come up, and just to give you an example of how we do that, Jefferson, Lewis, and St. Lawrence counties have been working through that DANK connection to create a series of marketing videos on agribusiness, tourism, manufacturing. I'm not sure if we've got a fourth one out there. We have wrapped up and are finalizing the agribusiness and tourism videos. Those, as soon as they're on the final location where we can make them public, I'll make sure that each of you receive a link to those. But just to give you an indication of how they've gone so far, the agribusiness video, we had HP Hood involved in the interviews to be part of the video. That went up to the corporate vice president for approval, and she sent word down that she wants it to use as a recruiting tool for HP Hood. So that's pretty significant when you think about the size of HP Hood. And this is the person that answers directly to the Canub family that owns HP Hood. So pretty excited to get that kind of response. And like I said, as soon as we get the final coordination, final logistics set up, I'll get that out to everybody to share. But that's an example of the things that we do to coordinate with the other counties. And this isn't just agriculture, it's agriculture, tourism, manufacturing. So it's pretty exciting. And then I think later on, Mr. Chairman, we're going to be going over proposed committee structure, and we'll approve the new member to the Ag Council in that. Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple slots below this.
Okay. One last thing is avian influenza. You might have seen Watertown Daily Times. Maybe it's not out yet. Watertown Daily Times did a story on it. Channel 7 has reported on it in the past. There is a lot of concern about avian influenza out there across the nation, and I've been getting a lot of questions about it. There are no recent cases of any type of bird here in Jefferson County having it. We did have some wild birds 2 years ago that were reported with it. We have had it in New York State in some poultry flocks, but it's been 2 years since that's occurred. The biggest impact has been in the western states. It is part of what's driving up the cost of eggs. And people ask me, well, when are we going to eradicate it? That's not going to happen, at least for a while, unless science finds some kind of vaccination or something for it. It's an influenza, it's a virus, and it's in the wild bird population. So it's going to be around for a while, but it's not a huge health concern for humans as long as you're properly cooking your eggs, poultry, and, drinking pasteurized milk. So that eliminates the risk. So
I follow a little bit concerned that it may mutate.
yeah, but
That's the biggest thing that everybody's.
Yeah, that is a concern, but I think that's a ways out there. So right now our food supply is safe, and just proper cooking, as always, helps eliminate any concerns. So
I think the scary part is. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Jay, the article actually came out in the Times the other day. So
oh, okay.
yeah, you're heavily quoted. Boy, I think you could teach economics for us. So.
Well, I've always had a good mentor from somebody. I don't know.
An honorary doctorate?
Yeah, I've got two people that I use as mentors for that all the time. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that.
Yeah, good work.
Thank you, sir.
You were, sorry.
I'm just going to say, one of the things that is presenting itself, though, is bird control on farms.
Yeah.
It's moving up the ladder for priorities, for practice, for design. The influence of wild bird population, and especially around dairy farms, it's becoming a concern.
Well, and one of the things I've started doing because of all the questions is there is a CDC reporting site plus a USDA reporting site, and I've started to just keep an eye on it to see if we do get any wild bird reports here in the North Country, because that would be an indication that maybe we need to then send out word to the farms to say, might want to pay attention to the pigeons in the barn. They do already, but if we start to see an increase in wild bird reports, then it's
How would you-
something to make note.
How would you know if you found a dead bird in your lawn? Are you supposed to take it somewhere?
No, my recommendation, based on scientists' recommendation, is just don't touch it. Move it away from where it could impact any pets.
How do you, what I'm asking is, how do you know you have a wild bird infected or a wild bird?
So the birds that get reported are birds of prey, eagles, hawks, that type of thing. So somebody's finding one of those dead, and people tend to report that more. It's difficult to identify influenza mortality for the layperson, but it's those birds of prey that people find a bald eagle dead, and it catches their attention. They call the conservation officer, they collect it and send it in.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So when that hits a hatchery, not a hatchery, let's say an egg production facility, they have to destroy all the birds, correct?
Yes, they euthanize all of the flock. Yeah. And that's why we're seeing the impact on egg prices.
There was something on the national news about the millions of birds that have been destroyed because of this.
Yeah, I forget off the top of my head. I think it's around 137 million birds that have been euthanized nationwide.
Different question. Are you hearing from Avagen or Midway about tariffs and cross-border yet? Is that something that's...
I haven't heard that yet, but that with some of the meetings and stuff I'm setting up, those are topics I'm trying to.
We just attracted Avagen's whole market is sending agricultural, hens to Canada, which could be.
It is a concern. It is something that the whole industry is watching with concern what that will do to our trade opportunities.
Okay.
Canada is, our second largest trading partner in agricultural products. Mexico is our first. So when we start talking about a trade war with those two countries, that is of significant concern to agriculture and so on. So, but there's also potentially some advantages that come if we start to say we need to make it more equal. So it's
the thing about Avagen is it's for the Trump and the people in Washington that want to saber rattle on that. The thing about the Avagen opportunity is it's a huge benefit to us. It's not a benefit to Canada. It's a benefit to us.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll stay that way.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. It's one of the reasons why I'm interviewing and talking to certain people to get a better handle and feel for what's happening. Thank you, sir. Sorry, I went a little.
No, it's all good discussion. Manufacturing, marketing, I'll let you do in the order you wish.
Sure. So manufacturing, not much to report. We have a lot of manufacturers in the county, as well as and they all seem to be going great guns and getting out their products. I don't know if Robin, if you want to touch base, we're going to be meeting with Lewis County here in the next couple of weeks. We do a Jefferson Lewis Manufacturing Alliance program, and we're going to be setting the agenda for 2025. So those are, is there anything that you have
we
to
do
add
one in
on
the
that?
fall, one in the spring, and we're going to talk about topics, how we're going to do it, present it. We're possibly thinking of Danks, the new program. What's that?
Next move?
Next move, yeah, possibly. But we're also talking about our manufacturing day, the tour that we're doing, making that a little bit more synchronized. And so it's coming up the next week. We'll be sitting down and talking to them with manufacturing.
And on the marketing side, there's a couple of things. The board is asked for monthly reports from strategic development on our Micron outreach. I'm going to be sharing those. I got them yesterday. I'm going to be sharing those individually with board members and sort of talking about that here over the next couple of weeks. And also, one thing, it sort of falls on a little bit of the buildings and grounds piece, but there's another thing, and I talked to the chair briefly when this meeting started. The board had asked about the concept that we had for the airport business park. At the time, when we were putting that together, it was known as the potential business complex corporate park. And we had worked with Bernier Carr on this. This is going back 5 and 6 years ago, previous to the other potential opportunity that we've been working through for the last 4 years. And so with the changes that we've made out there, a lot of the concepts that we had in place weren't really applicable now with the road that we have in place, with the infrastructure stuff. And so BCA is going to go back, and we actually have a little bit of time left on our hourly allotment with Bernier Carr on the infrastructure stuff. So they're going to go back through, look at what we have currently, and sort of come up with a concept as the pieces are in play right now with the road, with the infrastructure, with the things that we have like traffic studies and things like that. So that's something that we might be able to report on next week, and that's a positive development because the board had asked about what the concepts were, and if we could sort of look at that and sort of see what we have moving forward. So that's a positive thing. So 2 things I just wanted to touch base on from the marketing with the strategic development as well as the BCA, because we want something to market, and that site is going to be it's an outstanding site. So
Any questions on the report?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was at Han Welding in the park the other day, and I was going out past North American Tapes. How well are they moving along on their expansion?
they're going fabulously, and they in the next probably next month they're made. So I don't know if we can touch base on that. I think that we're going to talk about this potentially later on in the meeting. I can't remember from the agenda, but we have 2 businesses that are requesting extensions of their sales tax benefit. One is the 4XL, which is it's the Lawler. Yeah. But so yes.
Actually, they aren't anymore.
Yeah, we
I think
removed
they
them
moved.
because
They were in the
yes.
next meeting.
Because of some delays and stuff. But the North American Tapes project is going. It's going to be complete here in the next month. But they are going to be asking for an extension of the benefit because there's a time frame component, and they've taken a little bit longer. The same situation with 4XL. Those are things that I can sign off on. But other than just keeping you posted that they're happening, North American Tapes, to answer your question, Paul, it's going great.
Good.
Yes.
One other thing, and it maybe should be pushed off to buildings and grounds. And if I can't talk about it, just shut me down.
Sure.
You're talking with Bernier Carr to look at the concepts of the park.
Yes.
There's discussions about the expansion of the size of
Yes.
that park.
Mhm.
Until we know, aren't we premature in redesigning any conceptuals till we know if the expansion is going to happen? Because when you look at the road design, I don't see that working if it's expanded. And I think that's what you're concerned about. And
It is.
why are we going forward until we know what the ultimate not build out, but design would be
Yeah.
if it was expanded?
John, is this covered in your committee report in the next meeting, or not really?
Not entirely, but those are good
I
discussions.
just didn't want to talk about IDA stuff in this meeting. If you don't.
I don't see.
I know.
Yeah.
I guess let's defer that discussion.
Yeah, why don't we
Okay.
save,
next
save
meeting,
your
and
question?
then
Building and
I
grounds is the next.
I've learned
step.
some things this morning also that I think should be at the next Buildings and Grounds Committee.
So we might have some
Okay.
takeaways, actions.
I just don't want,
To be honest, if I could just very briefly, just generally discuss that, I guess my thoughts is that it wasn't going to be it's not going to be the level of detail, and I'm hot on getting some capabilities of the area and and something to use as a marketing piece so that we can start to get somebody in there. And that was really, as opposed to a full-blown study and breakdown, my goal is to get us to the point where we can have a marketing piece to start selling or moving forward with getting a business into that property. Was my thoughts. We have some hours left with Bernie and Carr, and maybe taking that into account. But let's have that discussion with buildings and
Let's
grounds.
park it to the next
Yep.
meeting, so we.
But I
that's
was,
fine.
but under your marketing, trying to get that,
Yeah.
where you're trying to take a look at, here's our assets. We're trying to forecast how this will be applicable in the
Yes.
future. And you're kind of going through the lens of Bernier and Carr. My suggestion would be, as you develop that process, pull in Mark Lundy, pull in Dan Boss, pull in, even if you can get Mark Purcell, get the 3 developers that are, and see if they'll come in and share, just for, hey, come in, we want to talk about opportunity.
Yeah.
And get their input, because I'll tell you, those guys, they're working with projects
They are.
that we don't see.
Yep.
Every day.
Yep, and we have had discussions with them, and I do get a lot of feedback from them, whether I want it or not. And so, and I want all of it. I'm saying that in a joking manner, but I agree completely. And I guess my goal is I really want a one sheet, and I want to be able to market this property, and that's that's where the genesis of where I'm coming from on that. But your points are all well taken.
Okay. Well, we'll discuss that a little bit more in the next meeting.
Yep.
Any other different discussion? Otherwise, we'll move to ARPA. Robin. 15.
ARPA,
Yes.
I've got another meeting.
Okay, I appreciate you sticking it out for an hour.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
58
See everybody
minutes.
later.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
So we have a substantial amount of uncommitted funds.
Right.
We have applicants.
Yes, and that's what, as I said last month, we're really gonna push it now and reach out and push this to you. So you'll see more activity
Okay.
in the sense. I just want to point out, to date, we've helped 213 small businesses with the funding that we've done to date. So it's really had an impact locally.
That's a good number.
Mhm.
That's a
Yep.
good
Yep.
number.
So we'll be working harder to get this, and you'll see a lot more activity. We had to get through end of the year stuff, and
That'll be part of the
Moving forward.
report coming out
Mhm.
in another month or two.
Yep.
Cool.
I think that brings us to, Justin, do you have anything remaining to discuss under council in this meeting?
Nothing specific.
Okay.
Are you using an executive session today at all?
I don't think in this.
Not
meeting.
planned, no.
Yeah, I don't think in this meeting.
In the IDA, are we?
I didn't see anything that was, it's up to the board. I mean, you can call an executive session for any legal and particular purpose, but I didn't see anything on the agenda. Was there something that,
Property acquisition, or?
We don't have anything to report on that at this time.
Okay,
I do have a brief report on a legal matter for advice of counsel if you folks want to take 5 minutes. I leave it up to you.
Should we do that now?
Yeah, Justin, can we do it? Can we get rid of our new business and then get to the end of this?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is that okay? Okay. I mean, we've got a couple, like 5 minutes worth of stuff here. So we'll come back to council. And committee structure, there's a a letter on 117 from Ms. Nicole Ingram.
That is her bio. In the past, we've always wanted to have a bio for new ag council members.
She's been appointed to Ag Council.
Oh,
Once we approve it.
Yeah.
But your recommendation is
To-
Ms. Ingram.
Yes.
And then on page 118 is the proposed committee structure for the LDC, which includes the bio for, what is her name? There it's ag development. I was looking in the wrong column. So we have page 118, the new committee structure. Do we have a motion to accept it? Paul?
Second.
Dave? Any other discussion? Last chance to back out. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion, committee structure carries, thank you. The next two, I'm kind of less familiar with. Who wants to lead the child care discussion? The last one I can lead.
That is JCC is holding a cohort 5,
Mhm.
and this is to cover the costs to hold that, and that's where they bring in and train, give education and training to potential daycare centers, whether there's home daycare centers. And so this is to help them keep that continual going.
And this is cohort 5 is 10,000 total grant?
Yeah, 10,000, 9,000 for JCC and 1,000 for the SBDC, because the SBDC does 5 classes within this program.
Okay. There's no resolution, but I'll ask for still a motion to accept this. There's several pages of description here. It's 10,000. We've done this as cohort 5. So apparently there was a 1 through 4.
Yes.
We've previously,
Yes.
I remember those.
I'll move it.
Okay, Dave, second? There's nobody else.
John Kerry, yes.
Yes. What's that?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And then lastly, page 126. We have one more.
Yep.
Small business productivity. I can read this, but if somebody wanted to describe more contextual.
Yeah, and this is a pretty cut and dry
What it says.
application. This laser is gonna help decrease the amount of time. They're looking for a Evo Q27 Class 9 laser. The laser will decrease the amount of time needed to treat both spinal and joint pain. Current treatment times range from 10 to 20 minutes per patient. This laser will more than half that. The productivity will be increased and staff's time will be much more efficiently utilized. On average, 4 to 5 patients currently able to be treated. With this new one, it will be 8 to 10. The committee recommended a full award of $10,000, and we're pleased to recommend to the board approval.
Okay. So this is Small Business Productivity Improvement ARPA Round 2, Ketty Family Chiropractic. The funding recommendation, which is, they've done a great job in recommending winners. $10,000 of a total 16,000 plus investment. And Marshall just read the purchase of some particular equipment to be productive, which is the purpose of this grant. So we have a motion to accept.
So move.
John, second.
Second.
Lisa, any other discussion or questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. So going back to council, there was advice of council to get particular instruction on, I forget what you said, something legal matter.
Yeah, we can utilize the basis for advice of counsel.
Okay.
I would move we go into executive session for advice of counsel and allow staff and the deputy county administrator to join us.
Okay. A second.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have to put one in the waiting room.
Just on the screen here.
And